Krista, do you have anything prepared?
You want me to go? Yeah. Well, what's happening, Ray, is that we're about to begin a build on a new website.
Okay.
And we'll be working with an outside agency to do this, and it's going to combine our two separate websites into one. And what we found is that what we'd like to do is possibly provide a place where our customers can go into the site and they can place orders, not necessarily, you know, onesie twosie orders of gloves and things like that, like not a shopping cart type system, but something that allows them to enter in their customer number, place orders, track orders, and communicate with us that way, instead of having to pick up the phone and call someone every time they need something.
Right.
And so we were looking for something that, as we build this website, would let us do that and also help us manage our content across multiple platforms. So, like, it's my understanding that we use Sage, so it'd be great if we could take the product information that's in Sage, update it there, and for it to be able to automatically populate or in some way populate the website, possibly catalog pages, possibly spec sheets. That's our ideal state.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Ray, to give you a little more, so Cordova Safety, we're a distributor of safety products. We don't sell to the end user, but we do sell to quite a few distributors across the U.S. and South America. We do head-to-toe protection, pretty large volume orders. So we have a gap there, giving our customers, you know, insight into our inventory. I know that's one of the major things for us right now, because we're an importer. You know, that we're looking at 120 days to replenish
Right.
for products. So,
Got it.
right now we've got Sage as a database. We have a price list that also has different information in it. We have our current websites, this CordovaISC.com and CordovaConsumer.com and Stanley-Gloves.com and Dickies-Gloves.com.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which Stanley and Dickies we have to maintain as part of our licensing agreement separately. But the other two is the two sites that she was talking about. I think it's CordovaConsumer.com. If you want to,
right.
If you wanted to pull up the other one.
Yeah. What was the other one?
So, CordovaConsumer.com. Mm-hmm. Is that right? I think it's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Right. So this is the site that we're using for our consumer side, where we approach retail companies, you know, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, you know, the bigger retail chains. So I know that this site in particular is needs some work on it, right? So with that in mind, you know, Troy had been trying to get me to look at you guys for a little while, but we have an inside sales staff on our industrial side.
Okay.
that works with our salespeople every day. The consumer side, we have some inside salespeople, but we primarily go through sales reps as well on that side. So there's...
Let me ask a point of clarification. You're referring to an industrial site and a consumer site. So I heard you say that this website is for your large retail stores like Lowe's and Home Depot and Walmart, right?
Right.
But that's
and
still...
And they would never... Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's still B2B only, right? You're selling large quantity orders. And then...
Yeah, that stuff's going to be EDI primarily.
Okay.
So there will be some smaller retailers, you know, mom and pop shops and things like that on the retail side, that we would give them the option to purchase online,
Right.
but the larger retailers obviously wouldn't. But we want to put our best foot forward, so when they look us up, it's a product we can be proud of.
Right. And then on this second site, this is to distributors as well, or are you
Right.
selling to the end consumer in any way?
No in consumer sales.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, cool. All right.
This we primarily use this to show items, give them descriptions, and provide a spec sheet that is right now is a manual process of our product managers updating and exporting to a PDF and then pushing it onto the site for every little change in a product or update. So a product that would pull our item information and have some templates for those would be ideal as well.
Okay. And the templates, what do you mean by templates? Specifically for what?
Right. Right. So if we go to, let's go, can you go to
Sure.
one of those products scrolling on the right-hand side?
Sure. With any of them?
Yeah, I think so. There's usually, okay, let's try maybe one of those vests down there then,
Okay.
because there will be a link to a PDF right there, specification sheet in the middle,
Gotcha.
right? So those PDFs are they're kind of product line specific, like
Right.
all the vests would look the same, all the gloves would look the same, but it's just different information, what standards and links and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Are there any other unique things about your business? I mean, everything you're describing right now is really straightforward. You've got, um, you know, uh, pretty simple products. You're not. It doesn't appear that you're doing a lot of kitting or complex bundling of products of any kind. Is there any other unique requirements or functionality that you can think of up front?
Right. Well, we on the retail side we do a bit of kitting, different programs. I know we're just about to kick off a program, I think, with Menards where we're selling a bucket full of gloves, those kind of things. So
Okay.
we have some of those kind of things, but I don't know that those are necessarily things we would sell through the site anyway.
Okay.
They're programs directed towards a retail. The biggest roadblock I see with allowing us to do this is we have 6 price levels,
Mhm.
and we have we sell about 400 orders a day, and at least 100 of those have some special pricing on it, some negotiated pricing that we don't capture well in Sage, as far as contract type pricing.
Okay.
That would be that's the one headache I know we're going to have with this.
Right. Well, there's a lot of capability from a pricing standpoint if you can get it in Sage, uh, which it sounds like it's not there today, but if you can set up complex pricing, multiple levels, discounts depending on the customer type and all that, and we can handle that on the website. So
Okay.
it goes back to one of your other requirements, which is just managing everything easier and better. And ideally in Sage. So if you can get your pricing set up correctly in Sage, we can definitely handle that on the website.
Okay.
And so there's different ways to set up. You said you've got 6 price levels. You can have retail pricing, wholesale pricing. You can have price levels and then discounts applied to them depending on the customer who's logging in. So, you know, um, we can handle it on the website if we can figure out a way to set it up in Sage, which I think we can do.
Okay. Do you have the ability through the website for the customer? How will we do this? If they negotiate a custom price, we've got to have it in Sage before they look it up on the site, right?
Yeah, that's right. Now,
Okay. I mean, that's got to be a decision, right? That's got to be made anyway. So I don't think Okay.
Well, and there's some other things we could do if it is truly too complicated, to set it up in Sage ahead of time, and you've got a requirement for a customer to request special pricing.
Hmm.
There's different ways to handle that on the website. It could be, some customers, you know, 90% of their products are straightforward, but those 10% that require special pricing, I was talking to a customer yesterday, they just want the customer to they want the end user to fill out a form requesting that special pricing.
Hmm.
So that's one way to do it. We also have the ability, for customers to, um, uh, request a quote online, so there's different ways you can identify that certain products might require special pricing, and then you can have the customer request that online, and it could then notify your sales rep that that request was made online.
Okay.
So that's a
Yeah.
possibility that we would have to look into further, but I think there's
Okay.
different ways we can potentially handle
Okay.
that. Okay. But yeah, this is helpful. Just looking at the websites, looking at the type of products you have, the fact that you're not currently doing e-commerce, so we're not having to analyze or duplicate any specific functionality there. I mean, we've got a clean drawing board, if you will, but this is right down the middle for what we do. So this is a really good fit. I'm not surprised since Troy has been recommending us for a while. Troy's very familiar with our product and how it works. So, I'd love to show you kind of an overview of who we are and what the product looks like, trying to tie in some of these key requirements you've already identified and allow you guys to just, vet it out a little bit and determine if we need to move forward. And if you like what we
Okay.
see, we can schedule additional calls to drill down in more detail on requirements and show you more demo and all that stuff.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And, one of the things we're doing throughout this process, whether we're talking on the phone or communicating via email later, is identifying requirements, right? And so, you've told me some of your requirements already. As I'm showing you a high level overview of our product, maybe some other requirements will come up. But if you guys, will begin documenting all of your requirements. Ultimately, I want to understand every single requirement, and I want to prove to you one way or another by either putting it in writing or demonstrating it to you online like this that our product can handle all of those requirements. Um, what we do, just to that end, I've got a very complex scope document here that we use. I'm not going to go
Hmm.
over it in detail right now, but this is where I would build out the scope, starting with one of our base packages, depending on your requirements, addressing some of the general services, some of the service levels, and then we get into bundles of modules or a la carte add-on modules to the base package. We'll get into the
Hmm.
design, if any. It sounds like you may have someone else doing most of the design. We'll see. But I'll build out everything I hear through these discussions. I'll build out a nice scope that'll ultimately drive the pricing as well. Okay,
Okay.
so that's our goal is to ultimately work through all those requirements. But like you said initially, I think I need to kind of give you an overview of our product so you can determine if it's worth spending all that extra time, working through all these requirements with me.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you kind of a background on our company, a very short background, and get into some product overview, and I think it'll help you quickly see, exactly how our platform works and how it can support everything you just described to me. Um, so I'll do that. By the way, I wanted to ask you a couple more questions. You were talking about your sales reps. How many sales reps do you have? Inside reps or outside reps? Just
Probably 12. 12 in house. I don't. Outside reps, I don't have a clue. They don't really access any resources back here.
Okay. Well, would it be helpful if they did? I mean, those outside reps they're calling on accounts, right? I
Hmm.
mean, would it be helpful if they could easily access the system to see order history or open invoices or late payments or anything like that on an account before they call on it?
That's a good question.
Okay. Well,
I'll get with our sales to see because we don't have. It's really primarily on the retail side,
yeah.
so I'd have to ask that question.
Okay.
We've never even considered giving it to them, so but
Okay.
I'll find out.
Are they using any kind of CRM system just to document activity on those customer accounts? Notes and stuff.
Um, the industrial side uses the ACT
Okay.
product.
Right.
The consumer does not. So an ACT between sales and customer service, I think we have around 20 license.
Okay. Got it. All right. Yeah. Because well, I'll show you in a minute. It'll make more sense as I give you an overview of our product. Okay. So
Okay.
this is very informal, by the way. I'm gonna walk through a couple of PowerPoint slides, giving you some background information, and then I'll get right into our demo as well. But feel free to interrupt me or ask questions or steer me in a different direction if you prefer. Okay. But I think this will be helpful for you to, tie everything together and determine if we're a good fit or not. So the first thing I want to start with is a picture. Picture's worth 1,000 words, right? The real magic to what we do is this sync tool. Okay, and this is a piece of software that we've designed, and this sync tool is just a piece of software that we install on the Sage server, and it allows us to sync all of the data that we need from Sage up to our cloud platform, which we can then support different kind of applications. So it goes back to the original point. You can use Sage as your primary um, system of record for all of your product information, pricing, uh, product descriptions, and all that stuff. And if you can manage it all in Sage, then we can sync it to our website. Okay, or I'm sorry, to our cloud platform. And then
Hmm.
from there, we can build e-commerce websites, both B2B and B2C. In your case, it's just a B2B e-commerce website. But we also provide a full B2B customer self-service portal, and I'll show you what that looks like. But that, goes beyond the ordering capability here to giving customers full visibility of all of their account information. Okay. And then also we can use this same data to support sales reps. So these are customer facing applications where the customer can log in and place orders or log in and see account information. But oftentimes your sales reps need to see the same customer transaction data. And so we can push that up to a employee portal that has CRM tools in it like ACT. And then
Hmm.
we can even use our API layer to share certain data with other applications if there's a need to do that. But you haven't mentioned anything like that. But this is kind of a high level just of how things work. We're syncing data out of Sage 100 to our platform and then displaying it to either the customer or the internal employee in the way they want to see it. Does that make
Hmm.
sense
Hmm.
so far? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and this drawing is really the same thing, but it shows the type of data that we're sharing. So again, the sync tool is installed on Sage. Initially, when we implement it, we would seed all of the data we need from Sage 100 to the website. So that would
Hmm.
include all of this information here. If needed, we can turn on or turn off, certain things. In your case, you mentioned that you did want inventory levels. We'll talk about that in a little more detail, but that's just an optional module that you can purchase and turn on or turn off. The
Okay.
other thing I want to emphasize is all of the account history. So all of your order and invoice information that's in Sage, we can sync up to the website. So customers through the customer self-service portal can have full visibility to all of their account information. And I'll show you what that looks like. And then the same thing going the other direction. Our sync tool monitors for any activity on the website, which could be a customer placing an order or changing some of their customer information or making a payment with a credit card or anything else. And as that happens on the website, we can bring that into Sage 100. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's a real time bi-directional integration. So I could, in this demo, I could go into Sage 100, make a couple of changes to the product description and pricing, and then show you how that updates the website. It would take about 30 seconds for that update to happen. So we call that real
Hmm.
time. And then the same
Hmm.
thing going the other direction. If you place an order on the website, it takes about 30 seconds for that uh, order to sync back to Sage 100. So it's real time bi-directional. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. And so let me get rid of that. So real quickly, I'm just going to go through 5 slides to provide a little more background, and then I'm going to get into the demo itself. But I think it's important to tell you a little bit about our company. First of all, our product name is SimCloud. Our company name is Website Pipeline. Okay. So our product is SimCloud by Website Pipeline. I explain that
Hmm.
in that way because Website Pipeline, we've been in business since '99, and we have just recently launched the latest version of our product that we rebranded to SimCloud. Okay, so it's SimCloud by Website Pipeline. But we've got 70 employees located in Greenville, South Carolina. They're all full-time employees. We don't outsource any work to anyone. Everything's done, by our employees. Of those 70, we've got about 40 um, developers or programmers that are writing code, constantly, developing the product, supporting the existing product, and all that stuff. We also have a team of 6 designers in house, so we can, truly design anything. So one of the things, um, we'll get into is how you would like this new website designed. You mentioned that you're working with an outside agency, so maybe a lot of the design will be done by them. But just know that we've got a team of designers in house too. And as I get into the demo, we'll talk a little bit more about the design aspect. Okay. But we've got over 400 customers using Sage 100, so we're very familiar with Sage 100, and we've designed our product to integrate with Sage 100. I think it's important to point out we're profitable and debt free, so we're very stable and able to be very flexible as we're working with customers. So our story is that for all these years, Website Pipeline has been focused on e-commerce solutions like we're talking about, and that's both e-commerce and the customer self-service portal. Built into the customer self-service portal is the ability for customers to see open invoices and make payments online through the portal. And we've always been providing some sales rep tools by integrating with Sage. We've been able to display some of that account information to the sales rep as well as the customer, and that's led to the latest version of our product, SimCloud, where we've enhanced the sales tools to create a full CRM piece. So that's really the major difference as we launched SimCloud was we're using our same e-commerce platform that we've had for many years, and we've enhanced it to include full CRM. So SimCloud is CRM plus e-commerce all in one platform, and it's integrated with Sage 100. And again, I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But that's very unique in the industry. No one else has done anything like this, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. So, I'll explain why we did it.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
If you all provide that and it's included in your price, what does that mean for our salespeople who are already using a CRM such as Axe?
Yeah, good question. One is we could replace ACT. Okay, so that's one option, right? If for whatever reason they're happy with ACT, or maybe you want to focus on implementing e-commerce and not worry about the CRM because they're using ACT. Part of our platform includes a light CRM. So, maybe your sales reps will continue to use ACT because they're used to all of the functionality there, but they can benefit from having access to our platform as well, because it's integrated with Sage 100. So, reps who log into this platform will be able to see all of the customer information and transaction data and everything related to that customer, which I'm sure they can't do in ACT today. So ACT is good for taking notes on accounts and tracking that customer activity in notes. But ours takes it a step further. Not only can we track that activity and notes and that stuff, but we have full visibility to what's happening in the e-commerce world online, and we have full integration with Sage 100, so the rep could, for example, pull up a previous order or quickly see that the customer is behind, has 5 outstanding invoices and is past due. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So are you able to take the information that's in ACT and to pull it over into your system?
Um, Possibly. It depends on what information you're talking about, and we would have to look at that more closely to. I'm sure we can. In other words, you can upload. Excuse me. You can upload that information to a CSV file or something. We can bring a lot of it into our system, but we would need to discuss that in more detail to make sure what information you want to bring over and exactly how we would do that. But yes, we could certainly do it. Okay, so when I start showing you in just a second in the demo what this CRM functionality looks like, it'll help answer that question. You'll see the difference between our CRM platform and one like ACT. And again, they can coexist together, because ours is doing some functions that ACT cannot do. Or you could somewhere down the road consider replacing ACT with our CRM piece. And it'll make more sense when I show you what this looks like. Okay. Y'all good?
Yeah, I think so. So just to make sure that Krista knows, she's, our ACT isn't integrated with Sage in any form or fashion. So we do have some variances there when we have some price levels assigned in ACT that maybe don't match what's in Sage. And primarily, you're right that we use ACT just for taking notes and to keep up with email exchanges between the salespeople and their customer.
Right.
So the customer service can, refer back to that. Is there any kind of, for your CRM, is there any kind of email synchronization tool like that would track those messages?
Yep, it provides the ability. We would scrape all of the emails and pull them into our system, so it's tracking all those emails. Also, it
Okay.
gives you the ability to enter notes related to the account, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second.
Okay.
So yeah, what ACT is doing is basic email and notes, but that's important, right? I mean, it's a good record of the communication between your employees and the customer. We've built that into our CRM, but our CRM can do so much more than that, and I'll show you what that looks like.
Okay.
And a couple more pieces related to that. The reason we did this, the reason we built a single platform that combines CRM and e-commerce integrated with your ERP, is this is what's really driving that. Our target audience is product-centric companies like yours. And as you're doing right now, you're realizing that you really have to start looking at e-commerce because the only way you're going to continue to be competitive is to provide this type of online experience that everybody else is expecting and is providing. So, I don't think product-centric companies can survive, long term without providing some kind of e-commerce. That's just the way of the future. And, everybody's used to buying off of Amazon, and everybody's used to researching products online now. So that's what's really driving one piece of it. But beyond just being able to see products and place orders, these B2B buyers, they want to see everything related to their account. They want the ability to self-service, and now they want to do it from anywhere, at any time, on any device, right? And so that's another big driver in the industry. And then the other piece is most the traditional CRMs, including ACT, really don't work very well for what employees need, because the biggest reason is it's not integrated with ERP, and it's not designed to be integrated with ERP. So customers or companies who try to build an integration end up getting really bogged down and into a very complex project that never seems to end, and never seems to produce the clean integration that they were looking for. It's just very hard to do that. So what happens is you've got sales reps that have to get they're getting information, and they're tracking activity about customers in a lot of different ways. They may be entering certain notes and information in ACT, but they're also communicating via email, and you're scraping that into ACT as well. But then there's phone calls, and there's documents that exist in the ERP system, and there's spreadsheets, and just information is scattered everywhere. So we've created a way that employees can log into our CRM system and monitor all of the activities related to that customer, and because it's integrated with Sage 100, it makes it very easy to use. Okay, so this will make more sense when I show it to you in the demo. And so what we've done is we've actually created a new product or a new software category called SIM, which stands for Customer Interaction Management. So we're the first ones to do this. It's a new software category that we're creating, and hopefully, this will really prove to provide the functionality that customers need and take off for us. Again, though, this is built on our e-commerce platform that we've been selling and supporting for many years. So SimCloud combines CRM and e-commerce. It's integrated with your ERP. It's a single platform for both your employees and customers. And so it makes it much easier for your employees to support customers, see everything that your customers seeing in the portal, have access to all customer activity. So down here, we're combining all of the employee activities that are typically tracked with the CRM system with all of the online sales activities through an e-commerce platform, and all the customer transactions that are locked in your ERP. Our platform can pull all that together in a single dashboard or a single view for the sales rep to see. And then, of course, it enables the customer to self-service whenever they want. Okay. And then the last piece of this, imagine our tool called SimCloud. It sits in the middle. Your employees can continue to work with your customers the traditional way, phone, fax, and email, and all of that's captured. All of that activity is captured in the CRM system. All right. So we're giving the employees the ability to log into our SimCloud tool to see the CRM functionality. Customers can log in and see the e-commerce capabilities, but we're also giving you the ability to manage your product information in our tool, also all of your web content in this same tool, and the ability to share your data to other applications through a cloud data hub if you need to. So all of that's built into the same tool that we call SimCloud. Okay, and so I'll show you what that looks like. And then one last slide to really drive this home is you guys are a perfect example. You've got a CRM application, ACT, that you've deployed for certain employees. Okay, now you're looking at deploying an e-commerce application for your customers. And what happens is in the traditional way, customers or companies like you are deploying these separately. They're not integrated whatsoever. So you're deploying different applications for different purposes. So this is two different projects to deploy these. Plus, ideally you want them integrated with Sage 100. So that's not only two different projects to implement CRM and e-commerce, it's two additional projects to integrate them to Sage 100. All of that's accomplished with SimCloud. So with SimCloud, you're implementing one platform that handles CRM and e-commerce, and it's already integrated with Sage 100. So that really emphasizes the ROI that exists in our product, where you have one system that can do everything, and it's already integrated with Sage 100. Okay. Any questions there? Or I'll jump right into the demo, and I think it'll all come together and make more sense. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. So this is my demo system. Okay. So it's not pretty. I don't have any nice design around it or anything. It's just showing the functionality. Okay. So this is our main template that we build all of our websites from. So right now you see I'm not logged in as a customer. So this is just a normal website. Again, we've got designers in-house, so we can design this to look any way you want it to look, where you're you're showing images, you're showing products. You've got as many product pages or web pages as you want to design from this template. Now, I know this looks very rough. I just want to show you using this template. This is one of our customers that we implemented. All this is just blowing out some of the navigation links, a lot of images on here, and the ability, to shop for products right here. So this is a B2C example. And again, in your case, all of your customers will be logging in. But I just want to emphasize that, design can make this demo template look very different, right? So what I'm going to do, you're not interested in the B2C portion. Just know that our platform has B2C capability. If you ever want to sell to end consumers, we can build out that type of retail web store through our platform, where any individual can find your website and look at products and place orders. But that's not what you're looking for. You're 100% B2B, so you want all of your customers to sign in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So notice I've got, let's do it this way. I've got two logins. Okay. One is for a customer where they can see the e-commerce capability, and one is a sales rep, so they can see the same data through a sales rep dashboard. So I'm going to show both of them to you. One's our e-commerce platform. One's our CRM platform. They're all part of the same platform, and it just depends on the login. So I'm going to log in as a customer initially. And then in a minute, I'll go back and log in as a sales rep. But when you log in, this is the B2B customer self-service portal. Okay, so from a high level, you've got all the shop and order capability up here, like standard e-commerce, and I'll drill down on this in a minute. But you also have what we call the customer self-service portal, where they can see all of their order information, shipments, invoices, how payments were allocated. They can pay invoices online. They literally, account information. They literally have access to everything related to their account. And that's what you guys were talking about earlier is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was exactly what you were suggesting that you were looking for, is the ability for your customers to log in and be able to search and find products, place orders for products, see all kinds of information related to those products, but also manage their account without having to call somebody on the phone to ask for a recent order or check on a shipment or make a payment. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I'll drill down on this in a minute. So from a design standpoint, this, let me show it this way. I've got a couple of examples. This is one of our customers. Okay. I honestly don't. I don't know if we designed this site or not. But when when the customer clicks on this dealer login, it will take you to our site. Okay. So let me give you an example of that. So if I click on dealer login, okay, I'm going to log in as a customer. And we did some, more design around this, but this is that same customer self-service portal, but this customer just limited it to certain navigation links, and they even put in a couple of custom navigation links that are unique to their business, and we added a little advertisement here in the middle. So there's a little extra design went into this customer self-service portal. But this is the same functionality I'm showing you on this base template, if you will. All right. The reason I'm bringing this up, if this were your website, now I realize you're going to redesign this, right? Somebody's going to redesign it. We could redesign it and host it ourselves, or you could have, this outside agency that you're planning to work with. They could redesign it. We can add that distributor login or whatever you want to call it. That can be added on this primary content site. And when they click on that login, it'll take them to the B2B portal. Okay. So one of my questions is, from a design standpoint, are you way down the road with this agency, and you've already got plans for the way you want them to design the website and all that? If so, that's fine. I won't have to scope any design hours in my proposal. So do you know yet if you're committed to that agency, or are you interested in maybe us doing the design as well?
I would never say no to a quote.
Okay.
I have narrowed it down to 2 agencies, but I'm still reviewing their quotes, and I haven't picked one yet. And it could be that I use them to help us develop our brand, but you all to design the actual website. But I would be interested in seeing what you propose.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and listen, I don't care either way. So if I'll be happy to give you a proposal that includes a line item for design services. And
Okay.
and then you can decide whether you want to use us for design or them. It really doesn't matter to us. The only
Okay.
difference is it'll take a significant chunk of hours out of our proposal, right, if we're not doing the design.
Right.
But more importantly, I'm just trying to point out functionality right now. You'll have a primary content site, and then there'll be a link that customers will log in that'll take them to the B2B customer self-service portal. This is the part we're definitely hosting, but we can host the entire content site as well if we need to. Okay.
Well, and also too, couldn't they just design the main pages for us, and you could take what they create, and you can apply those design elements to your portal?
Yeah, the answer is yes, but again, that gets tricky. So it depends, right? I'm sure there's content, and there's images, and there's things that they design that we can certainly use. But if you get into more complex designs, let me demonstrate it this way. If I shrink this down, one of the key things related to our design is what we call, well, I forgot what it's called. It's I forgot the word. There's a word that describes the fact that it will adjust the window to fit whatever device. Okay, I'll think of the word in a minute. So,
I think it's optimized.
What's that?
I think it's optimized.
Yeah, well, that is one word that relates to what I'm talking about. There's another word too, but anyway, the point is, all of our design has to be a specific way so that the website will be optimized for whatever device they're using. So we can't just take any kind of design components and just fit them in if they're not optimized for our website. Might be the best way of saying it. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that.
Right. So certainly we have no problem working with another agency that's doing certain pieces of this. So no problem working with them. We'll figure that out as we get down the road and start talking about our cost and benefits for designing it versus using somebody else. Now, the other question I've got, this is a good example of this. This website is a primary content website, but you're also showing products, right? You've got a PDF product catalog, but you also have just what we call an online product catalog right here. Now, in any individual consumer, they can see products in this case, but they can't see pricing, and they can't place an order, right? So, that's another piece of this is whoever's designing this, are you going to show product catalog like this on the primary content site? And are you going to force them to log in to see pricing and place an order? So all of those are design questions we can get into later. But just to give you a couple of examples, I showed you, this was a customer that you had to log in to see stuff. This is another one of our customers that you have to sign in to place an order. But notice, and by the way, this is one we built. But notice that you can see product information without logging in. So that's what we call an online product catalog. But you still have to log in to see pricing and place an order. And then you've got a B2C type site where you don't even have to log in. You can see products and place an order that way. But I know that's not what you guys want. So those are just some different design considerations that we can talk about later. So from a functionality standpoint, there's several different ways. Well, let me do this. Before I drill down here on the e-commerce side, I'm going to log out and show you the employee view. Okay, so I'm staying high level for now. So that's the customer self-service portal. I'll come back to it and drill down on some of that functionality. But just to tie all this together on the CRM side, let's log in as an employee this time. Okay, again, it's the same platform. I'm just logging in as a different user. And if I log in as an employee, this is the employee dashboard, okay, and the CRM system that we provide. So because of the integration with Sage 100, we're pulling all of these different metrics to display to this individual user or sales rep that logged in. And these can change. This is just example metrics, but any metric that's in Sage 100, we can pull up and display on this dashboard. And so just look at the capability. I'll show you the notes in the email in a second that matches that. But just look at this from an employee perspective. I can log in. I can drill down and find any account I want, and I'll show you what that looks like. But I can also see quotes, orders, shipments, invoices, all this information, transactional data that's locked in Sage, you're now giving your employees access to. So maybe I'm a customer service rep. I get a call from a company that wants to ask me some questions. So I can search and find that company, right? So as a sales rep, I can see all of the customers that are assigned to me. I can go into a specific company and drill down on the details. All right, so now I'm looking at a specific customer up here that I looked at. This is where I have the ability to enter notes. I can add attachments to that note. I can assign other individuals that I want copied on that. Okay, I can save that activity. And then you notice down here, this particular activity that somebody created, there's 6 comments on it. So you can go look at previous activities. You can read all the comments. You can add another note to it, etc. So you've got full note-taking capability related to this customer. But at the same time, I can see all of their online activity. I can see all of the order information. I can drill down and view specific orders. I can see open invoices and drill down and view them. I can see shipments and payments. So you're giving your sales rep much more information, to deal with that customer, whether the customer's on the phone or whether the sales rep's using an iPad and sitting in their car right before they walk in to meet with that customer face to face. They can also click and view online activity. related to that customer. So I can see keyword searches. I can see everything they're doing on the website and what they're searching for. I can see what product pages they're viewing on the website. I can even see abandoned carts. So now you're giving your sales reps visibility to all the online activity that's happening with that particular customer. Okay. Also, you can filter and search for specific information. You've got complete control over how these columns are set up. So, for example, this create date, I can just go over here and eliminate that column if I want to, or add it back. Okay, so you got a lot of control over how you manage this. Let's see. Let's
I
go
have a
back.
question.
Sure.
If I were to want to do some targeted marketing, is this able to search the whole customer database based off of what maybe something they recently searched for, and I could target something to market towards them that meets that criteria? Are you able to search the whole system with
Yeah,
that way?
absolutely. Yeah, we can search. There's a lot of different ways we can search. And everything is stored in here. So any activity that the customer did, or any notes and activity that the employee did, we can search that. To help create whatever database you want to use for that marketing campaign. Now we would have to
Cool.
get into that in a little more detail as well to understand exactly what you're trying to search for and make sure that data is in the system.
Okay.
And that reminds me of one other thing that I want to point out. I've got a PowerPoint slide that helps explain this as well. Remember, as I was telling the story, this CRM piece is new. Okay, so I want to be very clear. In fact, you'll notice this beta flag down here in the bottom left corner. So all of this is the new piece of our product. All the e-commerce stuff is we've been doing for years, but this CRM piece is new. And so I just want to point out that currently we've rolled out part one of the functionality, which includes this stuff here. We're in the process of rolling out part two right now. So just know that our CRM system is new. We're still rolling out other pieces, so there's a lot of additional functionality that's coming very soon. And part of what you were talking about may involve leads if you're marketing to opportunities instead of existing customers. So a lot of that may be part of the phase two rollout. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so as we get in, as we talk more about CRM down the road, there's a lot of questions about, what you're currently doing with that, what your requirements for, our system are, and then all kind of questions like that about can it do this, can it do that, and it just depends on where we're at in the rollout of that functionality that I just showed you. Okay, but what I'm showing you right here on this screen is part of the current system. So I've looked up a customer. So now I can see what users are assigned to that customer. And so I can log in as one of those users and see exactly what they see from their customer portal and place orders on their behalf. So as an example, if a customer calls up one of your customer service reps, your customer service rep can literally log in as that user related to that customer and place an order on their behalf if they would like to. The other piece is this interaction log. So this goes back to scraping emails and all of the. So we're taking all of the online activity that we're pulling in. We're also taking all the notes and the emails and scraping all that into one view. I don't know why it's not displaying any records. Normally I would have some demo data here, but anyway, it'll show all of the a consolidated view of all the customer activity. That's all the online activity. That's all the ERP activity. So if they made a payment or placed an order, all that would be shown, as well as all the notes and everything. So we're showing all that in one interaction log related to that customer. Okay, so that's a high level of the CRM piece. I can, of course, drill down and show you more, but I just wanted to give you a taste of that. But I think we need to, focus most of our time on the e-commerce piece that you guys are mainly looking at. So let me log back in as a customer, and we'll go back to that portal, and I'll show you a little bit more about what it looks like. So, for example, it's just like Amazon. You can click on Shop and go in here and look at different products. You can search and find products based on these different categories. We've got unlimited, you can have an unlimited number of categories to organize your products. Okay. What you're looking at right here is a gallery view, or what we call a gallery view. So it's just showing products this way. But we can show those same products in a list view. Okay. So just depending on how you want to show products to customers, this would be a list view. We've got complete control over these columns. So, if you don't want to show images, we don't have to. We've got total control over how we show these list views, depending on what you want to turn on or what you want to turn off. Okay. If I go back to the main page, here's another example of just a price list. So again, this is just a list showing the product, the SKU number, and the price. And again, we can customize that if you want to show information differently. This favorites list is really neat. You can create an unlimited number of favorites lists. Here's one called My Favorites. It's got 3 items in it. So this is maybe a customer buys the same thing over and over again, so they just want to create a quick favorites list of these 3 items, or maybe your sales rep wants to log in and create a list of these items so your customer can look at, just as an example. That's just a neat way of organizing products. With your B2B customers, you mentioned they buy in bulk. They probably know exactly what they want. They don't have to go around and shop around for different products. They know the SKU number. They're just coming in to reorder. So this is a quick way to look up a SKU number. It's got type ahead, and you can build out a shopping cart this way by just, if you know the SKU number, by entering it quickly that way. Okay, so lots of different ways you can shop for products and find products and place orders. Okay. As an example, this is a product I like to use as an example because I know I've got demo data in here about it. This is a drone. So this is what a product page may look like. Okay. So you're showing the product. By the way, you can have an unlimited number of documents. So your spec sheets can go here. We can have an unlimited number of those. You can have an unlimited number of images. And then you've got, and by the way, what I'm showing you here is base package. So you've got, the description of the product and, related products, if you want to include those on the page. It's pulling pricing from Sage. So we can show retail pricing, wholesale pricing. We can show quantity price breaks if you've got those set up in Sage. So back to that other issue, if we can set up your pricing in Sage, we can easily sync all that to the website in the right place. So that'll be another discussion. Go ahead.
Let me, since it's there, let me bring up the question again about spec sheets.
Okay.
These are difficult to maintain. So is there a way that you could create a template that someone could fill out, or actually you create a template and then it's automatically populated with the content from Sage, so that when it's associated with this product number, it's always there and always updated automatically in one place if people were to want to download it?
Yes, I'm sure there's a way to do that. We would have to really, I would have to involve, one of the developers. We'd have to talk through, exactly how you want that to work, where that data would be stored, and we would build that for you. Okay, so the answer is yes, we can probably do it. That doesn't sound that difficult, if the data, if you're managing that data in Sage somewhere, and there's certain workflow where you want to make an update and show that data somewhere on the website, we could probably do it, but that would be custom development.
Okay.
So, that's why I mentioned we've got all those developers in house. We can customize anything, and we often do. I'm showing you our base functionality in our platform. We've also got a whole list of a la carte modules, which is additional functionality that we've already built that can be added to the platform. But we certainly or often do unique customizations like that for customers too. So we have full capability to do anything, but something like that would just require us scoping out exactly what you wanted done, confirming that we can do it, and then giving you a range of hours that it would take to build it. So I've made a note of that. If we get further down the road, we'll certainly circle back to that issue and talk about that in more detail about how that could possibly be built. And what you're saying is, you've got a template of information, and maybe 90% of uh, that spec sheet is still accurate, but you're just changing something on it, right? And you want to display that on the site.
Right. If we could change it in Sage in just one place and it be reflected automatically on the site, that would be ideal.
Right.
Yeah. Like that instructions button there below downloads would be kind of a web form that populates with data that we've got stored in fields. And that web form, is
Right.
a common form for all those items, but it changes, and they'll be able to print it or download it as a PDF. So I don't. That seems pretty reasonable.
Right. Right. The other thing we can do, you're seeing this description section. We've got an add-on module called Advanced Tabs. This is just one tab, if you will, but we can add multiple tabs and potentially manage the content within the website that way. Now, that wouldn't be a document, a PDF, but it would be description content that you could easily go into the website and maintain there. So there's probably several different ways we could do it. That would require a discussion. I'd prefer to include a more technical person in that, but we could definitely scope that out and build it if needed.
Okay.
And one of the things I want to show you while we're on this topic, so you're looking at the website. This is just a normal product page. I'm going to go to the back-end control panel. So with our website comes a back-end control panel where you can manage all of the content and everything on the website. You see it's got all these different navigation links. I'm not going to hit on all of them, but I wanted to go into the product page just to give you a couple of examples. So if I go into Product Catalog Manager and I go into Products and Manage Products, on the back end, I can see all of my products that are set up on the website. So I'm going to search for this same drone that we were looking at. And if I go into Edit, you can see how I'm managing all of the content related to that product page that we were just looking at on the website. So here's the product page for that drone, with all this information. And then here's the back end of that same product page. So first of all, I can determine or I can select whether I want to display that product on the web or not. Maybe I'm working on some of this, so I want it offline until I finish it up. And so you can see I've got a very simple description here that you see right here, okay? But just know that, I've got a lot of capability right here for that description. I can embed videos or images as well as detailed description. And again, we could add multiple tabs. I can't think of a customer example or I would show you, but we've got many customers using multiple tabs to maintain all of that description information here on the site. So maybe one of the answers is rather than doing it, creating that template that you were describing, maybe that information that changes, you can just come in here on the back end and control it on the website here. It's just a thought.
Yeah. Does this description field, does it populate from Sage?
No, it doesn't. Well, I take that back. Yes, it does. If you are keeping this description in Sage, we can sync it up to this field. Yes.
Right. So we can point to Sage fields from there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
And that even includes user-defined fields in Sage. So, we
okay.
we can sync from just about any field in Sage.
Okay. That's what we're trying to do is produce all of those UDFs for all the different various data, right? Because
Right.
you need different information for eyewear than you do boots, right? So we have
Right.
different fields that are kind of part specific. So
Right. And I realize you want to control all that in one place, like Sage. So, you can manage all that in Sage, and then we can figure out how to sync it all up to the website, which will be pretty
yeah,
easy.
right. So talking about the full circle of things that you can sync, anything about item information that you can change on the website that updates Sage?
Yes.
Item information? Okay.
Right. So yeah, it's a bi-directional sync. So yeah, if you change certain information on the control panel, it'll update Sage as well.
Okay.
Okay.
If when we were designing this new website, we were really considering sticking with the WordPress platform that we've, some of us are familiar with here. How does that, if we were to go that route, how would that integrate with this, especially when it comes to making changes?
Well, the WordPress site that you're talking about, that would be like a content site, right? Did I understand your question correctly? You might
Well, yeah,
design your
I mean, traditionally, when we would make changes to the website, we'd go on the back end of WordPress and we'd manually make those changes.
right. That's right. So yeah, this is the same way. You've got a back-end control panel where you can control all the content and everything on the website. I will warn you though that WordPress is probably a little bit easier to use. I mean, it allows you to change everything on the website. So ours is a little more locked down. Okay, you can change content and things like that, but you can't change the design of the website. Does that make sense?
Well, if we were to, yeah, I guess my question is, if we were to change content on the back end of WordPress, would it sync into this right here?
No, it would not. No, our platform only syncs or integrates with Sage 100.
Okay, so we'd probably just use it for the product pages, and we would change the main page content through WordPress, but
Right.
change product page content through Pipeline.
Right. That's exactly right. So just using this site as an example, this may be your WordPress site and what I call a general or primary content site that tells you all about your company and things you want to tell people about. And you would manage that through WordPress. And then up here somewhere you've got the distributor login, and that takes you to our platform, right? And which is where you're showing all of your product detail, descriptions, pricing, and all that, and that would be managed by our control panel. Unless you wanted to put everything on our platform and forget about WordPress, and then you're managing everything, all of that content on, if this site resides on our platform, all the content as well, then you're managing all that from our back-end control panel.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so we'll get into different options like that. There's pros and cons about, having everything on one platform is versus using something like WordPress that, provides a little more design flexibility. The other thing I wanted to show you as I was on this product page on the back end, I just want to show you how easy it is to use. This doesn't require a technical person. You've got helpful tips throughout that tell you what each field is for. You can order, you can control the order of how the products show up on the website. So if I wanted this drone to show up at the top of every search, I can order it as number one. but this is where you would control what category this product is in. This is where you would control what suggested related products that you would show with that product. So you just go out and find those in the system, and you can associate them here. It's pulling the pricing and information from Sage 100, but this is where you would manage the images and the additional documents, and then keyword searches. Customers may know this product by several different terms, so you can put those terms in here, and when the customer searches for any one of these terms, it'll bring you to this product. Okay, so that's just an example of the product page. Another good example to show you is order management. If I go in here, this is where I control my payment methods and my shipping methods. Okay, so if I go in to manage my shipping methods, I can see all of the shipping methods I've set up. If I drill down on any one of those methods, I've got complete control of how we set up this method. Again, you've got all the helpful links, but I can pull from an internal rate table, and I can base it on weight, product total, product quantity. I can do an external lookup to UPS or FedEx. I can do a multiplier on here if I want to, add a multiplier to that UPS rate. So a lot of flexibility here with how we set up shipping, which is an entirely additional discussion we need to have around how you want to do that as well. But we can handle just about any shipping method that you guys might have. So that's just two areas of this control panel. I could drill into a lot of different places, but this gives you complete control over the content on the website. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you would like, I can place an order and show you how this flows into Sage 100 if you'd like to see that, or I can go in.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm interested in what that process looks like. How do we search for those orders and get them into the warehouse and those kind of things?
Right. All right. So let's do this. Notice the description name here and the pricing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log into Sage. And we'll go into item maintenance, and we'll find the same drone, MV3DT. All right. So first of all, I want to emphasize that nothing changes about the way you manage all of your information in Sage. Okay. We then just sync that information from Sage. Okay, so there's no changes that have to happen in Sage. So on the product description, let's call it. We'll just add the name in there. Let me tab off that, and then let's change this pricing down here to 1,100. Okay, so we've changed the description and we've changed the pricing. I'm going to accept that. Okay, and let me close this window. So let's go back over to the website. Now I'm going to start hitting refresh, and like I told you earlier, it takes about 30 seconds for that sync to happen. And in this case, it happened a lot quicker than 30 seconds. Normally it takes 30 or 40 seconds. That was much quicker, but you see that the change I made on the description and the change I made on the pricing immediately updated the website. Okay. Same thing. I didn't mean to click on that. Same thing going the other direction. Let's place an order for this drone, and I'll show you how it flows into Sage. So we added it to the cart. We're just going to order one drone. Notice I could save this cart and come back to it later. But we're going to proceed to checkout. Since I'm logged in as a customer, it already has all of my customer information. I can have an unlimited number of ship-to addresses if needed, but it's got all my information already. I don't have to type anything in because I'm logged in as a customer. So we'll go to this payment page. Sorry, this part of the demo is always a little bit slow. We've got to tweak this a little bit. So on the payment page, as I mentioned, we can handle shipping in a lot of different ways. Okay, so that we've got full capability here, depending on how you manage shipping, and that's something we'll discuss later. Since I'm logged in as a customer, it knows exactly who I am, so we can control what terms you show the customer. Okay, if you do not allow them to pay with or buy using a PO and invoice later, we won't even show that. You can force them to buy via credit card if you want to. But in this case, I'm just going to do a simple PO and add a comment. And I can go ahead and place the order, but I could also submit the order to a sales rep. So, for example, maybe I'm buying one of your uh, more complex products, and I'm not sure exactly if this is the right one for me or whatever the scenario is. Rather than just placing the order, I can submit it to the sales rep. I can name it. I can put my comments here and submit it to my sales rep. And then remember my sales rep view a minute ago. The sales rep would get a email notification that the customer, has sent them an order. They can log in and view that order, view these comments. They can answer questions and communicate back and forth with the customer. That whole communication log would be saved. Or they could just make a quick edit or verify the order and then submit it as the sales rep. Okay, so that's another really good example of the interaction that can take place between your employees and your customers using the same platform. But in this case, I'm just going to place the order. By the way, we can turn on or turn off these terms and conditions. So complete flexibility there. So I'm placing this order. It assigns an order number up here. It will. So when I go, it'll also send email notifications out, to the customer that they received that we received the order. You can also notify the sales rep via email. So I'm going to go in and find this order 121 in Sage. Okay, so if we go into sales orders, I'm going to just do a lookup. It should be the last order that came in. So there's that 121. Notice there's a Y in front of that order number. I don't know why it's a Y. It's always been a W. So for some reason, it's now a Y. I can't explain that, but it used to be a W, and I think still is when we implement this for customers to indicate that order came through the web. Okay, so you can, in Sage, you can differentiate between manually entered orders and orders that came through the web because we put a W in front of that order number. And for some reason, in our demo system, it's a Y now. So here's the order. Here's the header information, the address information, the lines on the order, which is just one drone. Notice the comment that I added on the website. It comes in as well. Totals, everything. Okay. So that order just flows right into Sage. No one has to hand key it. The customer keyed in the order on the website, and it just flows right into Sage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Prentice, back to one of your questions. Some of the operations that happen after that, the pick, pack, and ship, and stuff like that, is part of your Sage process, right?
Right.
But I can demo that as well. I mean, for example, if I go into
no, you don't have to do all of
okay.
that. I really I'm imagining our operations coming in first thing in the morning, looking for orders that they need to be printed to the warehouse and all of that. So
right. So yeah, they would.
So I see the identifier with a Y or a W or whatever there. So they would, I guess, look for orders created on that date that start with a Y or something. We give them a lookup to see all of those. So
right. And if you wanted to, they could be notified by email as well, or we can have orders come in and be put on hold so that someone could verify them before they're submitted or entered into Sage. I mean, so there's different ways we can manage that depending on how you want to.
Okay. So we could batch push those into Sage, have a kind of a holding spot for those on the website and then batch push them into Sage?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
And then, if I were to complete the pick, pack, and ship process here in Sage and ship it and get a shipping number, I would enter all that into Sage. So to save some time, I won't go through that. But my point is, if I were to do all that for an order, then imagine the customer has a question about their order or shipping. They can come in here at any point after placing an order. And they can go, here's that 121 order you see is still open, right? Because I didn't complete it. But if I go find a completed order down here, all of that information from Sage would be populated here on this order. Okay, so the invoice information, the shipping information, you can drill down on any of that. It's all right here for the customer to see.
Okay.
Okay. A couple other things I want to show you: pay invoices online. I don't know if you have a lot of invoicing going on, but the customer can come in, they can see all their open invoices, they can select all of them or select individual ones to be paid. It totals it over here, and then they can process that payment online via credit card and have that flow right into Sage 100.
Yeah, most of our customers are on terms, so if they do terms, we don't necessarily let them use credit cards, but we do have I guess credit cards are growing, so.
Yeah, different ways, but yeah, if you're doing it on terms, then you're dealing with a lot of invoices. So this capability could be very helpful if allowing them to see all their invoices. Now, whether you want them to pay via credit card or not is up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you have do you know what credit card gateway that you use?
The Sage Payment Solutions.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're fully integrated with that, meaning that whole process can be automated as far as receiving that credit card on the web. We're fully PCI compliant, so we're not storing that credit card information, but we can pre-authorize it on the web and then send in that pre-authorization token with the order into Sage, and then Sage Payments can collect those funds automatically.
Great.
All right, so all that is just a real high level overview. Obviously, we could go into some different areas, but I hope you get the gist of the customer self-service portal and all the functionality that's there, as well as that CRM piece, if needed or not. On this spread, I'm going to send it, or I can send this spreadsheet to you. Ultimately, we're going to build out a scope here, but the reason I might go ahead and send it to you is on this second tab. This lists all of the modules that are included, or all the functionality, I should say, that's included in the base package. Okay, so everything I demoed for you today was base package. Okay, and it describes it here. So you've got a base package. Then you've got a package number 1. This is just the AR payment portal. That's part of package 2, which is that full B2B customer self-service portal. So if I were scoping your project, I've already got package 2 in here for the customer self-service portal. That's what I would be scoping for you as well, because that's the B2B only portal that we have. So this package 2, and it shows you everything that's included in that package 2. It also includes everything in package 1 because they build on each other. Okay, so this will give you a full list of all the functionality that comes with package 2. By the way, you've got parent-child products as an example. I noticed that you guys are selling some apparel online, so you would probably need parent-child products to display those products. So all that's part of package 2, and that's just an example of some of the functionality that we haven't even talked about that you can see in this list. Okay. By the way, you've got a package 3 down here. Package 3 is adding the product catalog to package 2. So if we were designing your content site and you want to have a product catalog similar to what you have right here, that would be our package 3, which is just the additional product catalog on top of the customer self-service portal, on top of the AR payment portal. So here's a nice list you can review. And by the way, package 4 is the B2C capability. So you can review all the functionality here on this list, and then you can go over and look at our modules list. Okay, so everything I was showing you is base package, but we've got all of these add-on modules that can be added to the package as well. Okay, so for example, you mentioned inventory right here. Inventory levels is an add-on module. So if you want to display inventory levels on the website that's pulling the data from Sage 100 for those inventory levels, that would be an additional module. That's module 3049. And so notice what I would do if I go back to this pricing summary. If we determine that that's part of the scope, I would add that module to the scope, and it would just add that line item and build in the price. Okay, so I've got a lot more explanation to do related to how we scope things, but the thing I'm trying to show you here is you've got all of these base package features that are included with the base package on this tab, and then you've got all these add-on modules like inventory levels that are listed here, and you can see all, we've got unit of measure, we've got all kinds of stuff that is pre-built, and it's just a la carte modules, and it shows you the pricing that can be added to the scope. So when I say we can do anything, I've got hundreds of modules, add-on modules here, if needed, or we can customize something if we don't already have a module built that can handle it. So we truly can do anything, based on your requirements. Okay. Now, we can go into more detail about pricing. I can give you some ballpark pricing, based on what we're talking about. Remember that design is a big part of this, so we haven't determined who's doing the design. Right here, part of the base package includes standard design for that customer self-service portal. What I mean by that is when you deploy the customer self-service portal, there's not a lot of design required. We're going to put your logo up here at the top, and we'll match the colors to match your website. Because remember, whatever website we're linking from, if this were it, you've got your colors are black and yellow. So maybe you would want this to be black and yellow as well with your logo. So that's just basic design that is reflected on this line item. And you see there's no additional cost for that. Okay. Actually, I've got some things hidden right here, so let me open this up. But then if we're going to, I'm sorry?
When you were on the, I guess it's the customer view, and you're able to see a picture of the product and all the descriptions, where are those pictures coming from?
Yep. If I go back over to our control panel, you manage all of those images are uploaded to our site. So you see images and files. I can upload them individually or in bulk. Okay. But you go in here, and once you upload all those images and documents to our platform, they're stored right here. And this is where you would access them to associate them with a product. So remember on that product page, it had a search function. And when I hit search, I could go out and search all these files or images and then associate them with that product.
Okay.
So I feel like I've given you a high-level overview. Obviously, there's a lot of requirements we need to drill down on further. I'd like to send you a questionnaire that would help you think about all your requirements and document them and report them back to me so I can better understand or identify some of these requirements that we need to discuss in more detail. But but my plan today was to give you an overview like this. This is an introductory call for you guys to even figure out if you want to take the time to spend any more time with me talking about requirements and seeing more information on our product.
Yes.
What's your typical implementation timeline?
Yeah, it depends, obviously, you know. So
Yeah.
some projects are a lot more complex than others. Complexity comes in if we're doing design. Design tends to take a little more time and iterations to work with you to design things the way you want them. So that's to be determined whether we're doing any design for you or not. But if we're just deploying the B2B portal off of a website that somebody else that may already exist or somebody else is redesigning, deploying all this would take 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
And by the way, if you added design to that, obviously the design could be done in parallel to building out, this whole platform. Uh, so design wouldn't add to that. It may or may not take a little more time than that 4 to 6 months, depending on customizations we may be doing or design or whatever. Anything else? I think it'll help if I send this document to you, uh, and it'll allow you to look at all the features and functionality that are in these base packages, and it'll allow you to look at these modules. There's another tab we created. It's just another view. So let me show you. You can open and close these, but here's those same packages I was talking about. You're looking at the Advanced Customer Portal, Package 2, and this is just another way of looking at all of the available modules, and they're just organized in some nice headings. But this is just a pivot table pulling from this module list right here. So if I send you this document where you can look through and identify some modules that you want to talk more about or ask how it works or see a demo, and I also send you a questionnaire, I think between the two of those you guys can do some internal discussion about how you want to proceed with us and what requirements we need to identify and talk about.
Okay.
Are you able to, you talked about providing an estimate for building the design, the website on your end, instead of us using an agency. Is that a quote looking at our two websites that you're able to provide, I don't know, fairly quickly, or how would that work for you?
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit. You're redesigning these two sites. You're going to combine them into one, correct?
Right.
And they look very similar, right? I mean, they're showing the same. It'll be the same products, right? And you're just showing them. In other words, what would be the difference or challenges in combining these two sites and the two user sets into one? I mean, it would just be one
Well,
website
we're
and
going through.
everybody can see all of the products. Is that right?
Well, we're going through a whole brand renew, so we're going to, it's not just the nuts and bolts of what will be on the site, but it's also the whole, look and feel of who we want to be down the road.
Right.
And so, yeah, the same products, you're going to have the same products, but what we thought was maybe there'd be one landing page for Cordova, and it would break off into, you can go to take the industrial route, or you can take the consumer route based on, your customer type, and then you would see a variation of products depending on that route you took.
Right. Okay. Um, But it would it. So yeah, you're
They
rebranding.
are.
Which is
I was gonna say
big.
they
Go
are
ahead.
two separate product lines. It is two separate list of items.
Okay. Is it one company file in Sage that you're integrating with?
Yes,
Okay.
but there's two divisions,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Hmm.
If I does it matter if I'm a user and I log in, am I able to see all of the products, or do you want to limit it so I only see products related to my division?
We have
That.
yeah, two separate. So product lines that start with 03 are the
Uh-huh.
consumer items,
Okay.
and 01 and 02 are items for the industrial division. So we do have some differentiation between the two.
Right. So as you manage the customer accounts and the users that are associated with those customers, you can identify whether that user that's logging in is a consumer user or an industrial user, right? And you would
Right.
want to limit. So if I'm logging into the industrial side, you would want me to only see industrial products.
Right. Yep.
Okay, got it.
Their division number in Sage would be 000, and consumers AR division would be 01. So we also have that division for the customer number as well.
Gotcha. So yeah, no problem. That's just an additional module to control that. We call those modules data sets. So we
Mhm.
can control what products the user sees, and also, of course, the product categories. Okay,
Okay.
so that's I'm just using this as an example because it's a good example. So that's 314 and 316. I would go back here and
Mhm.
add that as well
Okay.
to my list of a la carte modules. Um, 314 and 316. So this gives you an idea of how we build out the scope as we identify requirements. So that's a good example of a requirement that we almost didn't talk about on this call, but we need to identify and build in. So somehow, as you guys think through this, if you can come up with a list of everything you want to see on the site and the functionality, then we can make sure that it's part of the base package, or we're adding a module that handles it.
Okay.
And
We
by
can
the
do some
way,
brainstorming here to come up with that list.
right. By the way, I'm giving you're starting to see a ballpark price, okay? Because I've
Mhm.
selected the right package, which is package two, uh, and we still need to determine. Well, since this is accurate, so there's a lot more we need to talk about. But you can see that as we add additional modules, you can see that modules are relatively priced at this level. So you've got a software cost and a monthly fee and an implementation cost.
Mhm.
Okay. So from an implementation cost, we have a range. We estimate a range of hours and we use the midpoint of that range. And our rate is $200 an hour. So you
Okay.
see the same thing up here with the base package. You got the software, you got the monthly hosting fee, you got the implementation hours at $200 an hour that's based on a range, and we're using the midpoint. And then all those numbers are totaled up here. So you're starting to see what this pricing may look like, and then you can play with this and add other modules just like I did here. But uh, all the functionality I've shown you so far is built into this price. But obviously we've got more discovery we need to do.
Thank
And
you.
and the other thing I'll mention, there's a one-time purchase price. That's the software and implementation. And then there's the monthly fee, and that's we're hosting everything in the cloud. We're providing all the infrastructure in the cloud to host this environment. We're doing the backups. We're doing all the security. This monthly fee also includes 24/7 technical support if you have any problems with the site. Okay, so you're beginning to build out a scope, but we definitely need to somehow reconnect and talk about additional requirements. And I think this questionnaire that I send you will help us do that. By the way, do y'all have any time frame you're looking at? I know you're just kicking tires at the moment. Do you have busy season or less busy season where you'd like to be doing the implementation? Do you have a go live date that you're shooting for, or a start date that you're shooting for?
Well, until you just rocked my world, I was hoping we could have something done within the next 4 to 6 months. But now, I need to sit down with Prentice and we need to talk more. And, but that was what I was hoping for.
Right. And by the way, I didn't fully answer your design question a minute ago. It just popped back into my head. So, if I choose this one, let's see what it pulls up. Yeah, so this pulls up a range of 45 to 135, but it's actually 90 hours that we just added to the scope. That's probably not enough for the design you want to do, since you're rebranding. How do I say this? Sometimes customers ask us to redesign it because they need a new, fresher design, and they want it to be on our platform, but they're not real picky about the design. So design hours can be less. But if you're rebranding your whole image and product, I imagine there's going to be more involved with all the design planning and discussions. Okay. So that's just an assumption I'm making. So let me go down here and choose this one. Well, that's too much. That's too much. Sorry. But what I'm thinking is, and I'm just guessing
I
at this.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you're probably. I would estimate, based on limited conversation, that you're probably going to need about 120 hours. But
Somewhere
before,
between 20 and 40.
what's that?
Somewhere between 20 and 40,000 is what it appears to be.
Yeah, I mean, again, our rate's $200 an hour. We can set up another call with our team leader on the design side and talk about exactly what you want to do from a design standpoint, and he can show you some different examples and all that, and then we can nail down the scope just related to design, and adjust this number, whatever that comes out to be. But I'm going to guess at 120 hours, and that updates the total pricing up here. So for now, this gives you at least it's really a wild ass guess, I guess, at this point. But you know that if you
Yeah.
want to spend more time with me, we can work to totally scope out that design and determine how off we are on this number.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to set up that call, because that sounds like a big decision point that you need to, or one of the first decision points you might need to make. So if we need to set up another call and just talk about design and show examples and functionality, and just really narrow it down so we can estimate that better. But I mean, it'll be around there. It may come in closer to 100, it may come in closer to 150, but that's a good ballpark for today anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll send this spreadsheet to you. I'll send a questionnaire to you, and then would love to have more conversation to nail down requirements both on website functionality and design, and then I can finalize a proposal using this document. But we're getting into a ballpark right now, just doing what we did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I appreciate your time. I encourage you to just start documenting everything you want. Just a bullet list would be great. Whether you're working with me in the future or somebody else, just having a detailed list of your requirements is very helpful, and that makes sure that we eventually address everything. And shoot me emails if you have questions. I'll be happy to collaborate that way, or we can schedule another call.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you so
time.
much.
Okay.
All
You
right.
too.
Bye.